Welcome to the final block of the development phase for the speed and agility unit for the adult program. This is the last phase and we're still on 90% of speed, but we're also challenging the hops and we're trying to be more functional today on the hops, but also now challenging the acceleration, deceleration component on multi-directional. So if we start with the hops, you obviously have some hops in your strength and power stuff, but here is now just going to add some functionality to the hops also. So you've been generating the strength and the power component, but here is a bit more functional. So yes, it is still strength and power, but it's a bit more functional. So the first one's a double leg jump, but you're going to reach up and look up with where you're catching. So you're almost imagining a ball going to land kind of very close to your height, and you're trying to catch it at the highest point. So you swing your hands with you, and you're reaching up and almost looking up as well. Okay, off we go. Good, so that's the first one. So yeah, do a couple of reps of them, and she's looking up each time she does it. And that's just going to train the body to be able to generate the force that we practice in the gym, and now transferring it to more functional ways, and obviously it's more controlled environment here. Good, so you know, when you are in your sport and you are functioning, you will use your hands, you will use your legs, you will use everything you can to try and catch the ball at the highest point. And all we're doing here is practicing and mimicking the movement skill required in your sport. Now single leg jump also, so there's moments in the game where you use a double leg jump, and there's also moments where you use a single leg jump. So with the single leg jump, you're doing the same thing again. You're jumping up and then you're reaching up as high as you can, and your head's going to look up as well where you're catching it. Now it's a bit more challenging here because it's now single leg, but it's more where more force can be generated. And what I would say is step with one leg, so that leg is going to now drive you up, and this leg is going to generate some force as well by swinging up in front, and you're trying to jump up as high as you can. And what I would say here at home is try and generate the force. If we could just go from the side stand and just have a look so I can talk about it. So as you step forward, there's momentum forward, and then you want to generate that momentum upward. So it's like a change of direction in all sense and purposes of the word. So you're stepping forward, momentum, you don't go and see it, it's going this way, and I got to use and stabilize myself to generate force going upward. So I'm trying to get as high as I possibly can on this one. Good, and we don't want two moving because that's the next part of it. We just want a one step and then drive up. Yeah, so we don't want to move into it and get momentum in it. We just want a little bit of momentum from a step and drive. Okay, so yeah, step and drive, and hands up. And as you can see, the patterns become more and more refined as she's practicing it, and that'll be the same at home. Okay, now we're going to move and double leg jump. Right, so a bit more functional again to your sport. You're going to move into it a few steps, and then generate the double leg jump, and then the hand driver and the head looking for the ball as well. So walking forward, jumping up, good. And again, you're trying to get as high as possible, and you're trying to reach as high as possible. It's exactly what you're going to have to do in the game. Obviously, you're going to have to judge the flight of the ball, but if we can get this technique right, it's going to help you in those situations in the game. Good. Do one more. Good, good double leg jump. Okay, now we're going to single leg jump. So moving into a single leg jump, so moving a few steps and then stepping and then driving. That swing leg is so important, and it doesn't get taught enough, doesn't get coached enough, doesn't get probably utilized enough in a lot of jumps. So we're trying to swing and jump off that leg to swing yourself up and try and get momentum upward. And just do it from the side as well, so obviously do left and right. All reps and sets are going to be on the PDF. I haven't talked about them totally yet, but they'll all be on the PDF, and you'll know exactly how many of these you should be doing. And jumping up. Good stuff. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go on to just generating some max force, obviously with some deceleration. So we talked a lot about multi-directional and 3 planes of motion, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So it's always right onto left or left onto right. So left foot, jump as far forward as you can on that one side. So you'll obviously swing your leg and generate force going forward. You're just going to jump and land, and then that's it, and just relax. Yeah, then come back to the start again and do the same thing. So jump as far forward as you can onto one leg. Yeah. Now, here you want to jump forward as much as you can. You don't want to go so high really. We're just trying to get as far forward on the mat as we possibly can, or on the grass, or wherever you do this. Make sure it's safe, of course, when you're doing jumping and landing for max effort, and then relax. Okay, so that's the first one. I think it's 3 reps, but I'll put everything on the board. I won't talk about reps and sets just so much now, so it's everything on the PDF, and refer to that when you're doing the program. Now we do the lateral. So you're going to on your right leg, and you're going to jump as far across to your left leg. And remember, it's the the horizontal displacement we want, not so much the vertical. Okay. Sliding across. Yep. And relax. You can go back the other way as well. See if you can get across the same way. And if you know your starting position, you can check, right, am I jumping as far forward as my left? And can I jump as far forward as my right? Because if you can jump back to the same spot, it's obviously pretty much equal. If you're jumping further, you can jump more with your left side. If you jump shorter, you obviously jump less. So you can test it out if you want at home. We'll do a little test here ourselves. So jump here. So jumping laterally as far as you can. So there's the marker. Now see if you can jump back to the cone in the back. Good, so it's pretty much equidistant. You might have some people who can't jump as far back on the one side, but it's just a good marker to look at, and you can do the same with your left foot moving forward also. And the last one then is the rotational side. Very, very important and something that can't be neglected. So again, you're going to stand on one leg almost, just get onto it, stabilize, and then jump at 45 degrees and then stick that landing as well when you do it. So Sandra's going to demonstrate. Jumping back. Good. Just one thing, Sandra, when you do this, so go back to start again and then go the other way. Just when you do it, you stabilize, you stuck here and then you win from it. I want to actually stay tall, down, and then generate the force. I want the load and explode to happen sort of quickly, as opposed to slowly. Good, yeah, so you get down and then you generate that force. That's perfect, so good angle, yeah. You don't have to come back that way, just always start here, and then do the left jump, and then do the right jump. You just relax, and you don't have to come back to center on this one. Okay, that's good. And there are your hopping sequences. Now we're going to go into our acceleration stuff. All right, so set up at home, obviously preferably outside if you can. Obviously the weather we have, you never know what you can do. So go out roughly 7 meters. It's not exactly 7 here, and make sure it's sort of a 45-degree angle back, or 135 degrees if you think about it as a full 360. So it's back roughly around here, again 7 meters, and it's the same thing on the other side as well. Now, I said this to you on the last time, this cone really bothers me, this one, because it affects our gait too much. This is a reference point, and we're just going to put it in for the purposes here, and if at home you want to remove it, it's probably better for me. I don't like it because we start running around cones, which we won't do, and it affects our pattern, which is not realistic to the game. So again, use these as reference points, but once we know what we're doing, I'll explain what, you can remove them and then, but just around that area I want you to turn. Remember, good leg position, yeah, that's the first step. What's the first step in acceleration? It's a backward step to go forward, creates a nice good forward lean, center of mass in front of you, and then I can get into good acceleration mechanics, low foot carriage, pistol action and all that, and then whatever way I'm turning off my left, and I'm driving off here, and again decelerate on that cone. So Sandra, I'll remove this, so it's not in your way, it's a big cumbersome cone, but you know you're going to be turning around 7 meters out from the marker. Go whichever side you want. Yep, and then turn, and get into acceleration. Good. So we have starting position, we have acceleration, we have deceleration, we have acceleration, and then we have deceleration again on each side. And go to the other side. Deceleration and acceleration. Good. If you feel very confident in this and you want a bit more of a challenge, get your partner or get someone whoever is with you, that when you come out, and I'll just stand here, hopefully I'm not in the way, I'll stand to the left, and I'm gonna put my left hand or my right hand out, and you're gonna go whichever way I say, okay? So come out and then turn over. So it makes it a little bit more challenging if you want to add a bit more reaction, because now you're back playing your sport, so reaction can be important in this. So make sure you get the movement right, break it down, and then if you want to layer up a bit of reactive stuff, you can do as well. Yeah, so if you have a partner, you're doing it with someone's doing the same program as yourself, just get you or the other person to make a reaction, either a shout or audio stimulus or a visual stimulus with a hand, or throw the ball is another way to do it. So there are your motions there, just a 130-degree cut, because you already have acceleration, you have deceleration, and acceleration and deceleration again, so there's a lot going on here. Make sure you decelerate on that cone as well. Okay, into the speed work then. So we go down here. So again, we're on 90%, and this is the last time we're going to do the 90%. So bear with me, the last phase will be maximum effort, but there is great utility in getting good at around 90%, because most of the game isn't always maximum, although we have to go to maximum speed. It's important that we get good at different thresholds also. Okay, so the first one, as you know the circuit before, it's just good to get good at this sort of type of drill. So it's linear mechanics to begin with. Yeah, A skips is the first one. You hit 10-meter mark and you sprint out 30 meters. We're trying to go to 90%. Now, depending on how your other week's gone and how your week has gone itself, and if training's been really tough and you have been doing sprints in it, of course, don't do 90%. You know, you should be hitting max speed, you know, once, twice a week maybe. So just build up in your own pace and just be sensible around how often you do this. Okay. So the next one is the B skips. You can do linear mechanics if you've done sprinting. You may just not have to do the sprinting as well. But if this is an area you want to work on, it's here for you if you want it. And into your 90% again, and then gradually slow down. The gradual slowdown is really important. I know it's not really a development point, but it's just a safety of injury point. If you just have to decelerate maximally at that cone, it's going to obviously expose yourself to injury. Okay, yeah, and we're on to the next one. So this is, we'll do the jockeying. So the lateral jockeying, so reverse it, yeah. So turn away from me. So the jockeying, two to our left, two to our right, that one. You know that one? Yeah. So you're going to shuffle back in a zigzag pattern, opening up the hips, good, and then once you hit that cone, you're off to the 90%. Good, good. And it's important that we are wide on that base. I think, and I've said this numerous times, is that we don't become too narrow and we don't just start skipping around and all this, because you leave yourself in a very vulnerable position. If someone wants to move, I'm not really in a good position to move from. I have to make some other movement and then adjust, and that's time, and the time is money and time is success. So you have to make sure it's as efficient as you possibly can. Okay, so lateral shuffles now, it's the same principle here. So keep your feet nice and wide as you shuffle across, looking up, looking forward. Keep your feet forward. Good, so we're almost getting better at these as well, Sandra. I can see improvement in this already, so that's great. Good wide base of support, she's able to move, and then if she has to go left or right, she can. If you become narrow again, the same thing will apply. You're too narrow to move from, you're too upright when you're narrow, and it just doesn't leave you in a good position. And lateral shuffle, 2 to go, on the other side. Again, feet forward, that's good. And then open up into the speed work. Good stuff. And the last one is a straight leg run. So it's more hamstring based than movement, if you like. So balls of your feet is the contact. Hit the floor with the balls of your feet. You're going to start accelerating too as you get out. So you're trying to actually increase your speed as you get to 10 meters, and then you go up into the 90%. Good stuff. Yep. Very good. Okay, so that's it's sort of, some of it's different obviously, what we've done before, the hops in particular, and then the change of direction is now a bit more challenging. This is the same thing, so some components are the same, but it's important to just not recreate reinvent the wheel, if you like. It's important to get good training in and good exposure at this level. And obviously, and you see in the timetables now, if you feel like endurance is your limiting factor, go and do more endurance. If you feel like speed is more your limiting factor, go and do speed. And the investment you do put in yourself will translate to the pitch. So hope you're enjoying it. Stay consistent. That's the end of the development phase now. We start going into more high intensity if you mount maximum speed exposure in the next one. But I hope you're enjoying it. Stay consistent, and just keep yourself safe and conditioned and ready to play the game when everything does return back to its full game schedule. See you soon.